Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Joreeezy, and I'm here to share with you 4 rules that have simplified my life and maybe it can simplify yours. Now, these 4 rules are based on the book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The Four Agreements, and they are: be impeccable with your words, never take anything personally, never assume, and always do your best. I'm going to break those down for you, so let's get right to it. The first one, be impeccable with your words. What does that mean? Obviously, there's a difference when the same person, think of one person, but 2 different versions, 2 different variants of them, right? The first variant is a bullshit artist. Every time he says, I'm on my way or I'll be there, you already know he's going to flake. I'm guilty of that. So I've been there. I've been that guy. Every time he says, "Oh, I'm down. I'll come through," or "I'm 5 minutes away," they really just got out of bed and they're about to take a shower. So, you kind of account for that. So you almost plan ahead. You account that this person's going to be late or this person's not going to show up. So you kind of make plan Bs already. Right. Now think about that same person, that same variant. If that person was 100 with his word, right? Never lied. Every time that person said, I'll be there, it's a different aura, right? It's a different presence. When he says, oh, I got you, you almost feel secure. You almost don't have to make a plan B or a plan C because plan A is going to pull through. You know what I'm saying? And just to build on top of words, words are spells, spelling. So I think the word abracadabra, it's a magical word, right? Abracadabra. I think abracadabra, people used to believe that it used to be able to heal people. So sick people would actually go to these magic doctors and they would just be like, abracadabra, almost like a prayer. But I mean, you hear all the time about certain phrases in ancient languages that will cause things to levitate, right? Open sesame, right? So different words, they hold the phonetic structure. Really, if you look into it and break down, is very intricate and has properties that we haven't really looked into or hasn't really been exposed and been put out to the public. But there's I've read some is that even a word? Some properties of acoustic power that can levitate heavy objects and massive objects. And some people account those for how they move these monolithic structures around in these historical sites. But be impeccable with your words, all right? Nobody wants to talk to a liar, and you can't trust a liar. So another thing about lying is it also catches up to you eventually, right? There's this book by Manly P. Hall where he talks about never worry, because worrying is literally betting against yourself and you tax your subtle spiritual energy forces, which you could be using for other magic, spiritual aspects of your life that are really subtle. But if you spend your time worrying, and worrying usually gets linked to lying, you know what I mean? So you're worried about keeping up the lie, then that could really tax you and affect you. And so to avoid all that and just keep your life simple, which is the purpose of this video, keep your words impeccable. All right. Words are like written contracts you make with other people. So if your contract is bond, word is bond, then you don't have to worry about anything. And other people don't have to worry about you as well, right? So rule number 2, never take anything personally. That is something that I'm still working on, but it is a superpower once you finally wake up to that fact and reach that point of enlightenment. Because if you really think about it, and I've heard this reiterated by so many speakers, read about it in so many books is the world is a mirror. Okay. Everyone you meet, everything you see is a reflection of yourself. And one prime example of that is art, right? One art piece, especially the very abstract pieces, they mean different things to different people, right? I could put a dot on to the wall, just some paint splatter that doesn't even mean anything to me. But a critique can come in and be like, oh, this reminds me of some beautiful moment that happened in my life. Like, what? That's you projecting, right? So if you take that philosophy and apply it to these rule sets, why are you taking everything personally? You know what I mean? Another good example is songs. Like, certain songs mean certain things to different people. You know what I mean? Sometimes it makes people sad. Sometimes it makes people laugh. And it's the same song, same message, same lyrics, same beats. So let's say you get cut off on the road, right? And this person's like, oh, you little in your red car with your hair and your glasses. And they try to make these attacks super personal. This is one tip that you should write down to remember this rule. No matter how personal they make it, it's never personal. All right. It's almost like just talking about the subtle energies from the last rule set or the last rule. They put all that subtle energy, the spiritual forces, into making a personal attack to you. So if you could just put up your shield and your barrier of, oh, this isn't personal. So I'm sorry for you. You know what I mean? Not only does it make him more mad, it almost redirects it back to them, but you're unaffected by it, right? The moment you give someone power over yourself and power over how you feel, you become powerless. You become their slave. So retain your power, never take anything personally because it's a reflection of them, no matter how personal it is, all right? Rule number 3, never assume. Sometimes, and I struggle with this when I'm nervous, okay? When I'm nervous, I start to assume the worst, right? I start to assume, well, maybe I won't be there in time. Oh, maybe it's not good enough. Maybe they didn't like me. You know, you go in an interview and I was so nervous, I didn't think you liked me. But how many times have you heard from the other side of the interview where they go, and where the interviewer goes, oh, I didn't even know, you did so well. I tell this to my wife all the time. If we're making soup, don't put shit in the soup, sometimes, and it's hard to be aware of this because sometimes it's just automatic and it's wired into us to do because of trauma in our environment. But we tend to put shit in our soup, and we're trying to make chicken noodle soup. Shit wasn't an ingredient. It was just something that we had laying around. And shit's not fucking like sugar or salt where you sprinkle a little bit of it and it'll be good. You know what I mean? Like, you'll taste that shit. So be careful what you put in the mix. And if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. So got that from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Shout out to Will Smith before he was weird. And just like the last rule, like I said, it's constantly people just projecting onto each other. And I'll do another video about projection and worldviews, all right? Because they also talk about that in this book, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. But if you're assuming, you are guilty of projecting your assumptions onto people, okay? So when you catch yourself making assumptions about people, wake up, snap out of it, and just respectfully and in a friendly tone, go and ask them and try to prove your assumptions wrong, okay? That'd be a good way to, interject that neural pathway and hijack it to make it into a better thing for you. And the last one, always do your best. Now, it sounds simple, right? Just do your best. But your best can vary. Your best on Monday is going to be different from your best on Wednesday, which is going to be different from your best on Thursday, which is probably going to be different from your best on Saturday. The point is you always do your best, okay? If you always do your best, you can have that Viking death of Valhalla of like, I fought a worthy battle, you know? Let's go with the Viking example. If a Viking is full strength, he's going to have a worthy battle. But if the Viking is sick, you know, wounded, and has a battle against, I don't know, like an unworthy foe, the struggles he had to accomplish and conquer in order to battle makes it a worthy battle. So if you don't get that, I'm pretty much saying there's a lot of variables and conditions that dictate your best at that time. Okay, that's the best way I could put it. So don't feel bad about not going as hard as you did the day before, but go as hard as you can today. Okay, so those are the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Those are 4 rules that have simplified my life, that I currently practice, that I haven't mastered, that I'm aiming to master. And I hope you guys have gotten a lot of insight from those rules as well. And if you like content like this, we talk about all this shit on the Cave podcast. That's K4V3. Check us out on the website, cave.com. Got merch, you know what I mean? And our whole team over there likes to, talk about subject matter of this sort. So check us out. With that said, I'll see you on the next one. This is Joreeezy on the Joreeezy Way. And I'm out. Peace.